Welcome to another live stream with No Hours. Today we're going to be exploring some of the changes that have been made in today's patch and starting with the market because, well, why not? At the end of the day, I needed to be in the market anyway. And I actually remembered, oh, there actually is a reason to start the stream here today. Only because I'm actually going to buy the Spice Melange. As you can see, I've actually got my funds up to 9.3 million Solari, so I was actually hoping the price would come down to 10, and the price has been crashing. I could be buying prematurely, but at the same time I don't want to take the risk the market bounces, and at 19,000 I can afford to do it. So yeah, I'll be just a little bit short of buying a full stack of 500, but not far off. I'll probably end up doing another run and buying some more maybe later. And when I say another run, I mean like a fund run. In the way that we actually made it this 9 million Solari. And to be fair, I made 3 million, yes, literally overnight, selling stuff. Again, most of that, actually, I wouldn't say most of that. A good portion of that was actually from just doing a one run through the deep desert, through the actual NPC testing stations. So I do need to do a video on that and show you tactics and approaches that you can take in order to be able to make money in the game effectively, and good money, like £9.3 million worth of good money without a huge amount of effort. Like, you could have quite easily have got way more than that, but at the same time I think we've done well. We've got so what you can see now is you can see this search thing. So previously how this worked is we had obviously all of this and we had all of these as well, in the sense of like you could hit it and you could come down and you could go into these and you would then be able to start seeing it. Now, one thing that has changed with this is previously if you went into ground car, you wouldn't see everything broken up by like subcategories in the way it is currently right now. You would have gone into ground car and then you would have started to see all of this being combined. So you wouldn't have had hull and you wouldn't have had chassis, you wouldn't have had engine or PSU. You would have actually had all of these items just listed straight in it. So what they've done now is they've put subcategories in, which allow you to now see kind of like the subcategory of each area. So we've got the one-man ground car, the sub part of that is then chassis, hull, engine, PSU, locomotion and utility. And then when you go into each of these, then you can see the breakdown of what you get within each of these, as you can see there. Now you could ask, where are the uniques? There are obviously some uniques in the utilities with that one, but there isn't actually there is actually unique as well. Do you know what, I didn't actually notice it on maybe it's, oh that's why, because it's in hull. There's a hull and chassis, there isn't any uniques in that. Like they just, you don't get any modifications from them other than just going up to the different general base, marks 6 being the highest and mark 1 being the lowest. But when you get to engine, PSU, I think PSU has one. Oh, PSU doesn't have one. See, this is helpful to know which one to do. Locomotion, we can see doesn't have, actually, yeah, it doesn't have one. And then utility, obviously the utility does. That's things like the mining laser that you can fit on the top, your storage and booster and whatever else you get. Scanner is the scanner part of it. I don't know if that's a thing. It's a thing on an helicopter. Okay, so that's kind of, this is one of the changes they've done anyway, so that's a lot better. But they haven't stopped there with the market either. Now you have this search option as well. So now you could be in anything and search for something. So if I put in spice, it'll bring me up everything with spice in it. Now, the one thing with this, from testing it on other servers, well, testing this on a test server, people noticed that the search pattern would based on what you started it with, so it wouldn't necessarily, if you had something like, if we switch these around, residue spice, because residue is the first word, it wouldn't find it. So let's test that and see whether they actually fix that before they actually call it out. Because that was one thing that was actually picked up. How was it even picking that up? No idea how it's picking. Like, I know it's a bit confused when it said spice at first, but do they know how spiced it is? I don't know. Maybe that's kind of like a hidden sparky feature or something. I don't know. That's a weird kind of thing why they're coming up. These make sense, but it does look like. Oh, actually no. That's actually coming up. So why didn't residue come up? Is it because you have to complete the word, or it came up before I completed the word, so maybe not? Where does it get that from? Is it because it's backwards? It is backwards, isn't it? Is it not backwards? No, it's not backwards. You know what I'm seeing? As I'm seeing the helm. But if you look at helm backwards, I'm thinking, is that backwards? No. I don't know how that's coming up in the search results. Yeah, the search results are a bit funky, but they're good. You might get a little bit more than what you asked for, but you should get what you asked for as long as you like type it in. And if you type in too many words, it might just confuse the hell out of it. Because now that's bringing in all sorts. Yeah, you need to be quite precise in searching. It still seems like it's a bit funky. It does seem better than it was on the test server. When this was on the test server, it didn't quite search like this. Like it was very. It's almost like when you do search patterns in games and stuff like that, the search patterns would have to have like an asterisk, which is like a wild card, a way of saying if you've got G, anything after G, just accept it. So if you had G and then you had S, it would look for everything with G and S, and anything that's in between those that has G and S in between it will come up the search result. So that's like quite advanced in some ways, search results, without going into like really fancy kind of search type patterns and things you can do. This does seem to be kind of like straightforwardly working, but it does also bring in some things that are a bit like. So these are obviously, I'd expect to see these. I'd expect to see that, but I would not expect to see these. And then when you start to define it even more, I'd expect these things to drop out, but they don't. So searches is good, but it's a bit funky. Okay. What else have we got? Okay, so another thing as well, and this is actually just directly under character as well. Something else you'll notice. What you would have noticed before is you would have noticed there was a bar here, and I noticed this when I first hit the test server. When I went into inventory, I was like, I don't remember that social thing being at the bottom. But then I went back actually onto the main server and actually noticed that actually was something down there. It just wasn't obvious what it was. And if you were like me, and hadn't clicked on it by mistake or anything like that, like I had never clicked on it until I'd seen this and then realised this was here. Then went back on the main server afterwards and realised there actually was something there. And it did take it to social, but it didn't have it like this. So this actually now allows you to go into each of these things directly from here. Where previously all you would have is just one thing that would take you into the very first thing, so it would have automatically taken you into this, and then you could have gone to which area you wanted to go into. So the nice advantage you got now with this approach is now you've got it really obvious what it is, but you can also go directly into the screen that you're after as well. So that's a pretty good improvement also. What else have we got that you can do without having to leave this area? I'm pretty sure they put in another search thing as well. Oh yeah, this is the other search thing as well now. So the search thing that you've also got is you can now search for things that you want to make directly from here. So I don't know, we'll say I guess. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's a bandage. Maybe it's not a bandage. Heal kit. Oh right, yeah, that's what they call them these days. It looks like a bandage, like heal kit. Okay, it's a heal kit. The heal kit works. If you want to make a sword, I don't know, spark sword. It doesn't come up. I'll tell you why it probably doesn't come up. It's obviously because you need to have a weapons fabricator for that, so it's only going to come up with stuff that you've got. When you're actually at a fabrication machine, you'll be able to actually just search for things that are available. So obviously this will only give me the stuff that's available, and the spark sword isn't available for me just to make without the fabricator. So that's why it's not coming up. But yeah, again, you've got a search thing now, so you no longer have to kind of scroll down for everything. As long as you know the name for it, which Lou doesn't, then you'll be fine, and you're about to now get through it a lot faster without having to just work out firstly which menu it might be in, and secondly, again, you can be in any of these areas and still put heal, and it will still bring it up, which is a pretty smart feature. To be fair, this is probably one of the best things I've seen from the concept with it, because generally speaking you would normally go into a sub menu, and if you type something that wasn't that sub menu, it would just blank it out. It wouldn't just think, oh, then just open it up and search for everything that might be available for that. So I actually do really like that feature. That's a really good thing, I think. Okay, so one thing I do want to do before we leave, and we'll go out into the deep desert and we'll see what the nodes are like, because we're seeing this live. Like, okay, this part I'd already seen ahead, so I knew this part myself. However, I have not been out to deep desert yet, so I really want to see what these nodes are like, you know, to see how populated it is. Like, from what I heard and I'd seen on a video, it looked pretty awesome. So yeah, I am very excited for that. Oh, damn you. Is the game dying already? I have actually updated some drivers as well, just in case it was like driver related. So annoying. I also hope you like the stream quality, because yes, I've worked out how to 4K the stream. Properly 4K it. Thanks to having a 4090 graphics card. I can actually, even though for my monitors, when I actually changed my monitors about a year ago. Actually, was it about a year ago? It's probably almost 2 years ago actually. When I changed my monitors, I got 1080 monitors, just because the pricing factor at the time to go up to 2K or 4K monitors just didn't make financial sense. There was like a huge difference in price, and considering I have 2 screens, it's not the price of just buying one, it's doubling the price. So I bought 1080 monitors. The problem is when you're streaming is it's doing an exact replication of exactly what your screen is. So when I'm doing a stream, that means that stream is done in 1080. regardless to whether I try and up the bit rate or anything like that. However, I have experimented a number of different times with different ways of trying to upscale that so that you guys get a higher definition than what my monitors output. And I finally cracked it. So now there is true 4K output. Although because it's still ultra wide, there isn't true 4K ultra wide. So it still won't fully register as 4K. However, if the ratio was right, it would be 4K. It's just that because it's really complicated and there isn't a defined standard for 4K at ultra wide, and that's just another ballgame thing altogether. At some point down the line, I'm sure they'll change it, but right now there is no official 4K ultra wide monitor. Well, not monitor, but standard. So this appears to crash, so I just restart it. So annoying. I'd rather it like at least give me the error of why it's crashed than just hang. I can't troubleshoot something that hangs like that without an error. We've also got an extremely hot day in the UK today, if you're wondering why I do not have any pop on. I am melting. I've got a fan right next to me, there's an aircon in the room next door to me, trying to pump out cool air, but probably fighting against my computer, which pumps out more hot air than it'll be throwing out cool air, especially when this game and the stream is running. Once we get back in, we'll continue the tour of the changes. We'll have to grab an assault copter as well to show the speed differences of the one copter. I don't have a carrier, however the carrier changes are apparently remarkably good. So I'm never going to know how bad they were to start with, other than I'll jump into it and go, oh, this is crap, because I never knew how bad it was beforehand. However, everyone that I've seen so far who had one previously and is throwing it under this new patch have all turned around and said it's absolutely amazing, wow kind of approach. So I can only take their word for it, but I'm probably going to be disappointed when or if I ever get one. I was going to get one, to be fair, a while back, and I changed my mind when I realised that, well, it didn't do what I thought it did. Like, I knew obviously it could carry vehicles, but I also thought it could carry, like, people. Well, not people, but, like, goods. Like, you know, be a carrier. So, when I found out, actually, it can't carry anything at all, so you can't put any storage thing in it or anything like that. And at first I thought, oh, that's not too bad, because I can just like get a buggy and put everything in the buggy, and I can just take that, you know, carry the buggy through into the deep desert. Well, apparently you can't even do that, because you can't carry things whilst you're going into the world map, and then obviously carry it through into the deep desert. So I'm just like, that's kind of pointless. So now I understand why people still build kind of like hop bases. So when I call by hop, I mean they have an outpost that'll be like further right out in the deep desert, but what they do is near the actual day of, you know, taking your base down, they build a very small like base with profanity shields on the top. So essentially what's happening is they're throwing everything from their outpost in the deep desert to that point, which is just by the gate, and then they've got another character who'll then be like ferrying it from there back into the back into Haga Basin, essentially. It kind of makes sense, because obviously it means that they're probably using a carrier with a buggy to carry everything across, so it means less trips, because the buggy carries like 4 almost 5 times as much as you can get an assault copter, because the assault copter is limited to 1,000. There's no way of upping that because there's only one storage, and because of that, well, the only thing you can do is use a buggy. But obviously if you use the buggy, then you need to have the carrier, so you can get the carrier, you can plug it all the way up to there, but you won't be able to take it through the gate into the world map, because there's no way of doing that. Once it's carrying it, it won't go through that thing. So yeah, essentially you've used probably the buggy as the thing to so that you've got less trips across that desert, and then you use your assault copter to do all the runs from there back to Hagen Basin. Personally, I just prefer my base being on the wall anyway, because I don't mind doing long trips out to the desert, doing the sand thing and doing the long trip back. Other people are different, you know. I like efficiency, but I just think about my efficiency of like trying to get in and out of the desert, and that's more. I want more efficiency on that part than I do want to be able to, like, you know, go all the way out into the deep desert, because I'm quite happy doing that and taking my time with that part. But everyone's their own. Okay, let's get our spice before someone else buys it all up. Now this spice thing is even more weirder. You know what, I'm just gonna do it the normal way. I like that feature, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe when they fix it and it's a bit less kind of finicky. We'll buy 250, 450. Yeah, we'll leave it on the market, and if it's still available on the market later, we'll get it. That's my expired one that I bought by mistake, not realising it wasn't full health. Still feel burnt by that, but I haven't taken it out just because I'll take it out, then I've got to store it somewhere. That's like one way that you can do something. If you want to put somewhere in storage, and I'm not aware there's a limit on that. You can leave stuff in there and just don't pick it up, and it'll just stay in there. It won't expire, won't go anywhere that I'm aware of. I had a few items on there for weeks before I finally did something with it, just because I was fed up of seeing it and they were getting in the way. But I don't think there's any expiry on any of that. So we'll go back to base, we'll drop off the spice melange, which will now allow us to build the big spice refinery. I want to carry on doing some more runs, so that we I actually don't need to do any more runs. I actually have this now. Now we can make a big spice refinery. I've got all the spice to actually put into production over 200 spice melange. Well, I'll only be able to make 200 spice melange because I actually only have enough to do one run. I'll need to get another about 500k of spice sands before I'll be able to put in another run. Oh, and we don't have a base out in the deep desert this week because I'm going away tomorrow, so I just can't see the point of putting it up while I'm going to be away for so long. I won't get any use out of it, and even where it is, it's a bit painful putting it out there and bringing it back. I was contemplating doing it before the stream, and I was just like, you know what? I am desperate to get a big spice machine up, but at the same time, it's a lot of effort. There's a lot that I'm not going to use. So the glide speed for the scout is exactly the same. Nothing's changed there. The one thing that will change is a booster. So if you put a booster on this, we should now see a change in the speed, which we didn't previously. Why do I feel lost? I'll tell you why I feel lost, because I've actually aimed at the wrong thing. Our base is over there. I don't know why we've come over here. Just lost all concentration. Oh, and that's one thing as well you'll see as well. So down here, you'll see maybe. So that person there didn't have one of the tennis shields that were essentially, well, held up by themselves. They looked fancy, but basically you make a face out of tennis shields. Now this person did, but it looks like this person actually, well, it looks like their base has destroyed itself, so it looks like they've quit the game because their vehicle is also wrecked. It's underneath. So that's taking storm damage. It's absolutely wrecked. Yeah. So, oh, actually, I wonder if I need to move like. I've just noticed they don't have a what do you call it? One of these things I've ordered to set if I've got the material. They don't have a sub-thief. If we don't have a sub-thief here, which I don't think they do, it means we can put a sub-thief down and we can open up their chests and see what's in the chests. I need to go and get sorry, I'm getting sidetracked, but it's an opportunity to get some potential stuff. Like they might have crap stuff, but hopefully that's safe. Worms doesn't come along. I'm pretty sure worms don't come far often. Just need to get some scrap. Okay, don't have scrap now. This was obviously not in the script, but I can't turn an opportunity down. Let's see what's in this. Well, I don't want to claim that thing because like nothing in it. Alright. What? Right. If there's nothing in it, we won't take it. Some players do just store crap, like real crap. It's actually rare that you actually get a building that the sub-thief's been taken out yet there's actually still storage boxes around, which is why I'm jumping at this opportunity. Because if it wasn't for the fact that this is a rare thing, I've got like no like materials to like. I could just open it up. I could just like drop the thing and all the things would drop out, but I don't want to do that. Like I want to try and leave it a bit untouched in case the guy does come back. I'm back and find all his stuff's been taken. I need easy stuff, like sticks granite rather than the fancy stone. Gonna make me build structural support. It should let me build. Was this worth the effort?
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh, get it from my mama,
Yeah, this
so
guy
take that I
just
need
gets
tempo,
jumped.
personality, spicy body, banging like a bongo, cause black women venison, Timbuktu and Pharaohs,
I don't
furnish
think
rulers
it's
and
better.
hot
Oh,
homes,
wait.
lip sheets and brow bones, if you ain't for the culture then please stay out of my zone, these little dummy rappers could
That
never
must be
break
copper.
like headphones,
Like,
see I'm from a place in space where
damage
ain't no
per hit is
storytelling, you just had to
21.4.
have been there. If you want the
I
battle,
remember
ain't no
those days.
problem, stay where I got so much experience I can't even play fair, but I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting
There's
feelings
nothing
and
left.
showing you need endurance to go
Looting
in.
here,
I got
so
mileage on this pen. I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
oh, actually, he's got medium blood stats. Still worth it, I guess. Keep the rest. You know what, I was gonna leave it and then I thought actually, you know what, as you put it down, we may just take it down. He hasn't really finished the season. Says me. I honestly don't think it's worth it. I'm doing the guy a favour. Or girl. Girl or guy. I don't think I have a world around me. I don't have a world around me. I don't know. No access. No access, but I could access it. That seems a bit of an exploit. NPC shooting. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back to base now, and we'll fit a booster to this, and we'll have a look at see what the booster looks like in speed-wise differences, so how much it does provide a boost to the scout, and then we'll go out in the assault carrier and do some metal mining on the wall. Assuming that there's, well, assuming not everyone's fucking mining the wall, like, but that's always possible. But apparently they also spawn really fast again, so it's not like before where you could be waiting 40 minutes to wait for it to respawn. Apparently they respawn every 5 minutes now, so yeah, they are very plentiful. Oh, I've actually got thruster there actually, but and it's Mark 5 actually, so potentially that. I do actually have a modified one which would probably be better, I think. Just need to find it. I have no idea where I put it. Well, I have some idea where it might be, but not exactly where it might be. It could be in one of a few different boxes. Which I'll work it out. Like it could be. Like I tried to keep this box as the box for things I get. So that's this salt one. So I'll take this salt one because we need that as well. I'm full, aren't I? I maybe should have put that in there. Let's go drop the salt off. I'll put it in there and I'll say I'll move it later and I just won't. Like one of those things you just should do now. It should expected more than that to sit there. What's taking so much room? Salvage metal. Where's that come from? But that keeps nothing. Actually no, I did get, yeah, I only mined a little bit. So it shouldn't have actually one berry. You do get quite a bit with like what I've got, but not that much. Okay, we'll take that. This ult. Where is the one I made? For now, we might have to use that. But ooh, that's nice. So you can see this in here, and it shows you where that indicates like it's actually come from one of the research stations. It's actually obviously rare that you get one that has this much health. When you ever get these, you need to keep them. Either sell them or use them yourself, because these are the ones worth keeping. All these ones, there's a scrap, because yeah, you can heal them, and if you don't have anything, they're a good starter to help you build it up. But generally, you should replace them as soon as you can. They're not healthy enough really to run for long, and definitely not long term. That one I was aware of. See, this one, that one is, look at the health on that, that's ridiculously good. This one's still worth keeping, because that's still in a good range. This one is a bit more questionable, and these, yeah, definitely not. I don't keep any of the responsive ones. I'll keep the full ones if they're good enough. That's a very good one. Wow. And that's come from the research station as well. Well, I don't think I've ever seen that. Like, I've seen these parts drop with good health, but not these types of things. That's fairly rare. Alright, yeah, I've got what I wanted from it anyway. I need to go get, like, recycle, shred, what I call it, these. I'm going to keep that one just because I'm not 100% sure whether I actually no, I do actually have one already. Are they all the ones you said we'd keep? Yeah, they're all the ones you said we'd keep. See if I can find the booster that I made. Like, I'm pretty sure I did consider selling it, but I'm pretty sure I kept it and didn't despawn it. I was tempted to do both of those. I'm pretty sure I didn't in the end. I'm pretty sure I stored it somewhere. Here we go, that's it. And it's only a Mark 5. I thought I had one that was like one of these special ones that gave you better boost than normal. Okay, well we can still take that. This will shred now that I know I don't need it. Now I've got a new one. Exactly the same. Just it is brand new. Never been used. I'll need to take one of them because I'll need to fit it all. And I'll have to use wire up the stairs. let's go see what it's like now with the booster. So previously, if you had flown your ornithopter or your assaultcopter and you used the booster, you would find that the booster wouldn't have made any difference in speed wise. It would allow you to gain altitude faster, and when I say faster, I mean you don't even have to have the wings on. You can literally just use it, point in your direction, and it would literally go vertical, just like a rocket. However, now how it works is it will actually apparently give you speed, and it will increase your speed regardless to whether you're using your wings, whether you're gliding. So previously if you had your gliding on, you'd get that up thing, but you wouldn't get any faster. So it wouldn't increase your maximum velocity. So if you're doing 170, that's it. That's your top speed. Now it'll increase it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing just how much it increases. Firstly, I just need to attach these because scout copter will only. Is it dropped? Oh, right. Yeah, the spice melange and stuff. I don't want to be dropping that. I forgot it was actually carrying stuff. But it did exactly what it would do if you destroyed a box. It dumps the stuff that you had in it on the floor. Put it there for now. Put that in here as well. Now we'll assemble, so we'll put these on. Our boosts. They look trendy. Do you know what? I've never used the boosts on a scout before because it's for me, speed isn't everything. Being able to carry stuff in it's more fucking useful for me. But I suppose depending on what you do. Okay, let's go test it and see what we can get. So 170 is generally your kind of my normal speed. 973. We hit the boost. Oh, look at that! Almost 200. Just shy. That's pretty cool. That's a significant actual difference, especially if you're getting chased or something like that. So I could possibly see a use for this now if I wanted to do some scouting and stuff like that. I could rather than being able to carry anything, then you might want to take the boost out so that it gives you that level of protection in the sense of it allows you to run away from whatever's attacking you. So you can come from where we are now, so we're doing 140-ish at our current kind of angle of attack. And that takes us up to 200. So it looks like the maximum speed for this ornithopter is 200, even when you start to go up, which I like that. That's a pretty nice glide speed. That. I just eat all my fuel. That's the one thing. At one point, I thought you could use a booster and it didn't take any fuel, and then I realised you actually do use fuel doing it. So it's still probably a little bit more, well more efficient, I think, than turning your wings on. That pretty much is your air brakes, in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. 200, just short of 200, and I've got MK5 wings on this. So if you put the MK6 wings on, then you should expect to see another, I don't know, at least 10k difference, because the base difference between the two wings is these do 170, or they're supposed to do 170, although I find they do 172, and the MK6 wings will do 180, which again won't be exactly 180. You'll probably find it's about 182. So it's probably at least the base speed will be 100 different. I would imagine the boost would probably be the same, unless the like 200k has been kind of bottlenecked and they just won't let it go any faster than that. Whether that makes any difference, and if there's different MK wings, I don't know. The only one way actually we could test that is we could put the MK4 wings on and see if it slows it down. They're downstairs. They would be. So we get the wings. We'll put the MK4 wings on just to see whether or not, because the MK4 wings, they're 10 slower than what those MK5 ones are. So it means that if these are slower, then the MK6 ones will be faster than MK5, and your top speed should be, depending on how much of the difference is. God, this game. I almost guarantee it's the anti-cheat, even though it doesn't get to as far as saying it's the anti-cheat. Because this is what happens when the anti-cheat decides that it's going to try and it can't communicate, or it can't do what it wants to do. After a certain amount of time, it just kicks you out of the game. But normally it'll tell you after about, I don't know, it does still take about 3 minutes, I've found. Like, it doesn't go straight into that screen, but it will eventually load onto the like login screen where you've got the main character and all the other menu buttons, and at that point it'll come up with an error in the middle where kind of like where that is, and tell you you've been like, I think it's called bad cheat, something like that. I don't even know what it's called now. It'll essentially come up and turn around and say timeout error or can't communicate. It'll usually, I've seen like 2 or 3 different types of errors, but each one mentions about this anti-cheat software not being able to do what it wants to do, and because of that it kicks you out of the game. However, what I found is it doesn't just kick you out of the game, it crashes the freaking game, because Funcom can't make a game that's stable either. Like, it crashes with their game, so yeah, why not? It's either a crash or anti-cheat software or anything else that comes out of these games, Funcoms. I'm going to end the game because I can't be bothered waiting to see if the menu loads or not. I'm just going to assume it's not going to, and I'm just going to have to restart the game. It's quite a common occurrence on this stream. And believe me, it's not that much better when I'm playing by myself. I'll be playing and all of a sudden, like, some days you can go like fine the whole day, nothing. And the next day you literally get there to stop and start constantly. It's frustrating. Like I said, partially because the patches, well, this patch, but also I thought as well as a troubleshooting step, I'll update some drivers to see if that helps. So far, not looking good. One thing I do want to do actually, let's play fast mode. One thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn my anti-cheat software, my actual antivirus software off, just to see whether or not that does help it. Like, I do not expect it to, but you never know. So, from the start of what I had a bit of a sneaky suspicion that the software was causing some issue. Because this game and its anti-cheat software keeps flagging up as malicious or potentially malicious. It keeps trying to put it under a warning and under light restricted. Light restricted means it doesn't fully trust it, and it's doing things that would normally only be found in software that is trying to do malicious things on your computer. So yeah, I suspect that by the fact that it keeps getting flagged that the antivirus software isn't happy with this game and what it's doing and with its anti-cheat software, which this anti-cheat software is used in GTA 5 and some other big names as well. The only problem is it doesn't have any issues in those games, so it's really bizarre. Just fun con games. If it does stop it, I might actually just stop having my antivirus on when I play the game. That will be a bit annoying. It leaves me vulnerable. Well, actually not completely vulnerable, because Windows Defender is actually good these days, which automatically switches on as soon as I disable the antivirus that I've got. But yeah, my antivirus software is like cutting edge stuff, and it's really good, and it's it is still way better than the Windows one, even though the Windows one actually now is very good. So do not get me wrong, if you've got Windows 11, your system's being protected well. Just not quite as good as what my system is, because my system has all sorts of things that my antivirus does protect, though at the cost of like some performance, but I have plenty of headroom there, so I'm not too worried by that. I was after wings, wasn't I, before we got interrupted by a crash. We'll pop the other wings off, put these wings on, and test. Actually, it's that one there. And then we'll test to see whether it's any slower. So these wings, the Mark 5 wings, they do just short of 200k. For some reason I feel like it's changed to another one. Well, actually, it's too late now. Let's just do the same one. I just thought actually on the other helicopter I only have MK4 wings, so I could have just actually took the boost off. Never mind. Does not matter. Standard. Okay. MK5. You don't want them. You want the. No, you don't want that. That was an MK5 wing. I was expecting it to be an MK4 wing. That's an MK4 wing. I want one of these. Move. What's a put? I was just going to pick up faster. It doesn't let you interchange the wing types. I don't know that. Just make it easier though, making sure that you put all the same type on. If you're carrying several types like I am at this very second. Okay, let's have a go now. We've got IMK4 wings on. Let's see what our max speed is now.
Sector weather alert. Alarm sandstorm approaching.
The max speed 187. So that shows that it is slower. So the boost doesn't have a maximum. The boost is literally in line with regards to the wings themselves. So as there is a 10% drop, or a 10 kilometer per hour difference between the MK4 and MK5, thereabouts, that same thing will carry over into the MK6. So the MK6s, they should be doing about, probably in the range of just under or on 210 kilometers an hour. You should expect from the MK6 or like scout copter wings. So that's cool. Another thing we've ticked off. So I suppose we can, actually no, we won't leave those wings on. So I forget I've left them on, and then I think they're faster than they are. Take them off. Take the booster off. Like just take somebody's booster. Like I used to booster on the assault copter, because you don't lose utility on the assault copter, but like that on, but you do on when it comes to this. Like in a storm outside. Didn't even hear the warning. Like, what warning came? Okay, so that's that one tested. Let's go and get to our assault copter, which is only one level up because I didn't park it on the very top. I parked it where it's supposed to be parked, in the assault room or hangar. Module already attached. I want to take, I just want to double check. I think the actual module I've currently got in here at the moment was one of those items, like I mentioned, where when I started up, I do actually have full storage, which is brand new. Okay, we'll keep this one as spare. Not for this helicopter, but if we lose it, if we lose the assault helicopter, then we've got like a good spare that we can put in. Obviously it's not really brand new, but it'll be still good enough. The assault copter engine though, I think this one is another kind of one of those ones where I did in a semi-repaired one. But that actually looks good as well. Actually it's only, so it's the thruster I need. Whenever I get a thruster next, I need to get the thruster and remember to keep the thruster, because this is one of the ones where, so over the time since I've had this, I've got a number of these ones like we've got now, where it's got really good repair and hardly any real damage, and I fitted it to it, but there's just one item where I've not been able to do that so far, and that's the thruster. So these two were ones that we've got from the research stations and managed to repair, and you get good health with. This was one of the things that I got, but I've never got one of the ones where it's had a good repair on it, so I've not been able to replace it, and until it breaks I'm not going to like build it, so we'll just keep it where it is. I think I prepared it, this is why it looks off, but maybe worse. Okay, let's see what the assault copter does now then, because this should be nice. the assault copter is certainly jinxed prep fuel, that's for sure, but it also never had, like, it never gained anything. Oh, and that, oh wow, 171 millimeters an hour. That is sweet. So even when you go down like this, so you turn it off and you change the angle of attack, the best you can get out of this is like 150, 56, 151. And as you go up towards here, you'll start losing speed and stuff. But this now, we can turn our booster on and we instantly do 170. That's nice. For an assault vehicle at least, that is really nice. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go out to the deep desert. The reason I took the assault copter is because, well, we'll find some nice rare ores. Well, what used to be rare, they're not so rare anymore apparently. Now these rare metals that used to only exist on islands now exist even on the main wall itself. So we should see that. Go and have a look and see where these nodes are. They should be everywhere apparently, and they keep respawning really fast. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited if we can see them. Like local. Oh wow, they are literally come right out and then the titanium node. Is that titanium? Actually no, it's not titanium, that's aluminium. I suppose there is one thing I could have done first, so they've kind of come out with this scout copter and scan the area to find out where they are, but you're about to see them. Like, this thing is not the best for scouting. Oh, and that's a storm. Which way is that storm going? Is that coming this way? I'm not sure. It shouldn't come this far in. It will come onto the wall a little bit, but not usually too far in. So if we park our ass down, we should be able to go once it clears. It looks like it is coming across. I've got a feeling what it's going to be is it's going to be on that, see that raised little wall area just beyond that where our base normally is. And I've got a feeling it's just on that part of the wall, but it apparently is all along that wall on all the areas. Even if it's only on those areas, it's still like it's huge significant change. But depending on how much it is, like everyone predicts at the moment now, the price of metal is going to go right down. At the moment, the price of metal in comparison to spiced melange, or just sand spice even, is like not marginal. It's like depending on when, generally the price is slightly different, but not hugely different. And I've just crashed, literally. It's just actually error this time. Uncon. He's committed to constantly. This is what you get. Bug report. I send it. I don't know why I'm going to send that. I normally just say no. I just can't see the point. Like they never fix their fucking issues. They never have done. They are awful at it when it comes to crashes. Why they have games that consistently crash like this, I don't know. I don't know any other game that crashes. Not on the consistently level there stuff. Might get one crash in a year on another game. it because I've been spoiled with it like every other game I've played, like EVE Online. When was the last time that crashed? I don't know. I can't actually remember the last time EVE Online crashed. If it's ever crashed actually. In the like, how many years have I played it? So I've played it since 2009. And it might have crashed twice. Like I do remember one time it crashed. But how many years is that? In the whole time I've had that game, it's crashed maybe twice. This game has crashed twice that amount just today. And it's not their patch either, because it does it prior to their patch. Actually, I tell you what, when the game first came out, before they did any of their patches, I didn't get any crashes. I had some weird graphic bugs, but I didn't have any crashes. It's like they carry on developing it until they get it crashing. We're back. Back in the game. Captain Arrow on a copter, but that's no surprise. The storm's decent as well, so that's good. No way, I should be grateful that we crashed there and not like somewhere where it would be more dangerous. Although we're not actually going to go out into the deep end today. Keep wondering whether or not am I seeing some metals, like rare metals? Rare metals? There's some spontium. This is up where my base normally is. Oh, and there's some titanium. Yay! So here you've seen it. On the wall, there's the deep desert there. And here is your titanium nodes. So that, yep, now you can mine to your heart's content. Those PvP lovers, oh, not PvP lovers, PvE lovers, you can now come to the actual wall and get all your rare resources. Obviously, when I say all your rare resources, if you want to get Spice Melange, you still need to go out into the desert. However, if you just want to get the metals, that is now all plentiful here. So we're going to see how plentiful it is. We'll find the stuff that's usually by our base, because our base is usually here. Although this particular node was not anywhere by base. In that shade. One thing with the desert, when you're not in a kill suit, which I should have probably got on when I know he's going to do this, but I would have been wasting more time. Where was else? Oh, there's the Ontium, whatever you want to call it. Radivindium mass. Radivindium mass. I'll just call it shard. It's the mass effect. Okay, so we've got 2 nodes on this one. That's pretty good. Like, just to get one titanium node is doubly good. I usually spend all my time going for titanium because the spodium is actually piss easy to get. You can get it anywhere. But the titanium nodes, they're like go dust. Even rather than go dust. Like, these things used to be like the only place you'd get it consistently, and you will see, like, if you look back through even my online streaming, you'll see that these ones, even when you went to the actual titanium island, there was not as much as you would expect to see. You'd expect to see like what people refer to as a titan island, there to be tons of nodes everywhere, and there wasn't. There was only like 5 or 6, which is obviously better than anything else, because if you went anywhere else, they would literally, you might find 1 or 2 nodes. But yeah, this is awesome. There's like nodes everywhere. Look, there's a node there, there's a spontium node there, another spontium node. They are literally everywhere. They do only appear to be though very close to this wall, because they weren't everywhere we were. Got another titanium node there. There's people's fixes so that they can not quite do the only shield or pentashield only bases, but that's the next best thing. Just build some 4 corners and put your things on it, which is how it should have been to start with. Obviously people found out a way of getting around that and just build their stuff with just about that. Oh yeah, so this is awesome. I'm liking this. So I did wonder whether or not to play around and go and do some spice mining. The only reason I'm not is because I'm not too sure exactly how active the desert is and will be today. I expect it to be very busy because this is quite an anticipated patch, and while the game has lost a lot of players, the existing players all were looking forward to this patch, and yesterday the game was dead because they didn't bring the patch out. So I was expecting today to be a bit of mayhem in the desert, and recently there's been a lot on this server of ganking. So because of the level of ganking that's been happening, and me being aware of how busy I reckon today was going to be, I decided not to do that. However, sometime next week, probably on Monday or Tuesday, we will go during the day and do a run. So we'll do one during the day when America is still asleep, and we'll go out and do a spice run when I know it will be quiet on the server. Because usually during the weekend, that's when I go and do my spice runs. I usually go out and do it when I know the server's quiet. And Sunday and Saturday mornings are great times to do that, because obviously I generally work 9 to 5, but I'm actually off as well at the moment, so, and that continues until Monday to Tuesday, and yeah, I took those days off so that I could do this, essentially. I could come in the game and play when it was quiet. And that was one of the reasons also why I was tempted to maybe build the base, because I thought, well, while I'm only going to use it for 1 day, which would have been Monday, there is some use from having to use that Monday. But in the end I decided not to, because I was just, we'll just wait. I'll stop being impatient and we'll just wait. However, if on Monday you find me streaming for base, that's because I've basically just bit the bullet and built it anyway. If I do build it, I'll only build the shell and literally probably the large spice refinery. I'm not bringing everything out here, because that would be completely pointless. If you're wondering why I'm not getting the mass, it's purely because I have a lot of it already. More than I've got titanium, like way more obviously I've got than titanium. titanium is what restricts me from being able to put the titanium into production. What the hell have I got underneath this? Yeah, so essentially this stuff, you can put this into production. Like this one node I'm doing now will probably do all of the titanium coal capture. That's how much you get, and the ratio of how much you need against how much titanium you need. So that's why I don't usually go, even before this patch, I didn't make much effort in getting these, because I'm wondering why I can't look it up, is because my backpack's full. Yeah, the reason why I didn't put much effort to these, because those were plentiful. Even on islands where it wasn't a mass island, you'd still see 4 or 5 of these things. Like they were everywhere. And when you went to the mass island, literally they were literally covered everywhere. Like, I mean, head to toe in these metal rocks. So the titanium ones were hard to get. These were easier, much easier to get. But they were much easier to get, and the fact that you don't really need that many for every sort of iron or titanium ingot. I think it like takes, like, at least when you've got the ore refinery that I've got, which will be different when I get the large spice refinery going, which kind of brings me back to that. Should I do that now? Because I don't really want to put any of this in production when I know it's being done at the maximum efficiency. It's not quite double like it is with the actual spice melange when you do the titanium, when you go from the like medium to large, but it is like a good third almost, so it is definitely worth it. I think when you're doing it in the medium one, you need 7 pieces of titanium. These one of the refined pieces of mass, and it takes you 2 or 3 to make one of the mass. So even when you look at the ratio that breaks them down into the main core pre-processed things, refined is the right word, you'll still see that there's a clarity difference of like how much it takes to make one of the items, but even when you go to use it, it's still like one of those items against 7 more of the titanium items. So you had 3 base parts that you made to make that one. So it's 3 to 1 really, 3 to 7 really, because you'll use 1 to make 1 iron titanium ingot, which takes 7 raw iron. However, if you looked at it overall, it's 3 to 7. And bear in mind that titanium is very hard to get, or was hard to get, in comparison to the mass, palladium mass. Get in it. What do you think? So we've barely scratched the surface, and we have got a good portion of stuff already. Like, it spawns as fast as I've been told. We can probably go back to our very start and find it to be spawned already, which is just crazy, because you could literally just be surface. It's in surface, and you'll literally just be grabbing it up. Like this stuff on the market was going for, like I said, almost the same price as Spice Melange itself. So anything, like, I did say at one stage go up to 30,000 per unit of ingot, for the ingot, not for the raw, for the processed. However, now this is going to go for like, I want to say pennies, because still need, you still gonna take water. At that point. But yeah, even. I actually shouldn't be carrying all this stuff. Carry. Okay, so then I'd be fucking came out. We've got 312 against 16, so that's 60, so that's probably the right ratio at the moment. If I put that into production, that would probably work out maybe around equal. About right. I feel it's about right. Maybe a little bit more of this of the mass. Like one more node. See if we go back to where you were, to whether it's spawned already. If it has, wow. In my opinion, absolutely free. I think they might decide to pull that back a bit in the long run. Probably just gone from one extreme to the other, I think, but whilst they keep it like this. Really crazy. That squadron already spawned. Actually no, that's not basic. No, basic. Over here, actually. Hasn't spawned yet. See how long it takes. Yeah. I don't think I've landed on it. Maybe I should just leave it to be crazy. I'm pretty sure I'll use that. I definitely know we will. Everything I do that really is new. Why? You want what you're choosing to do. Me up and making the moves, paying my dues. Just see how long it takes. Y'all know that I am the dude. Bend that low, hit that high, got that hustle, got that drive. One more time, best alive. I want it all, everything mine. What I'll do is I'll just go to the live stream myself and I'll just go back to where we played it. I just want to work out where we are to when we started it. Yeah, that's too sincere. I don't really think I could be that clear. I'ma be right here, but y'all know that. Wanna feed my fist and hold me back. Y'all do that, try to hold me down. Karma is real and it's coming around. So, we find that video. So 15 minutes ago, we mined it. And it was pretty much where we are now, actually. Out here-ish. Out here, somewhere here it was. Can't exactly tell because to be fair, these rocks do look like one another-ish. Actually, no, it might be. It's here, I think. Yeah, it should spawn just here. tell because we're at night and I'm looking at the video replay and it's still okay. But it looks like here where we are right now, so it should be already in front of us. 15 minutes ago, so it would have been GMT 21:10 or thereabouts. Well, the every 5-minute thing is debunked. Not 5 minutes. It's not 15 either. It's obviously not here yet. Maybe 20 minutes. Like I wouldn't mind if it was every 40 minutes. If I'm honest. Like you could go along the whole of this wall, and yeah, people would be doing this. So like it's not just you doing it, but there is that much there that not everyone's going to do it at the same time. Yeah, I think unless you're on a highly populated server, which none of the servers are highly populated at the moment, then you're easily going to be able to just go up and down, up and down, up and down, and depending on how long the picture respawn, which we'll confirm in a minute when this thing spawns back. If you have any questions, just leave the comments in the comments below, and I'll love to answer those questions for you. If there's anything else that you want me to test as well, do let me know, and we'll test that within my limits. Those limits being, I don't have a carrier, so I can't do any of the carrier testing. But you can see some videos of the pre-patch that do show people who were testing out the ornithopter on the test server. All the stuff that we've done today just revalidates what we seen on, or at least I seen on the test server. And now you can obviously see now on the live server. So some of the things I wasn't able to test that were out in the deep desert is what we're testing today. One of those being these titanium and strontium mass metal deposit thing, rock thing, pieces, whatever you want to call them. People are actually being nice on the server for once. That's unusual. To be fair, there are some really good solos out there. To be fair, that do try and stick by the other solos. But some of the ganking groups, well, yeah, they're just on another level of trying to just have their own fun but ruin others, which is a kind of goon thing. But to be fair, in a game like this, it's pointless. This thing to spawn and why? Why is this game so shit? Seriously, it's like well, at least I know it's not the antivirus. Still freaking doing it.
If I could change my mind to feel something, I would, yeah. And no, I don't want you to feel misunderstood, no. It's just that I'm not in the place to give you your way. And maybe I just need the space and the grace to
got a feeling it might be 20 minutes. If we get back in there, I reckon it's 20 minutes would be about right. I can't validate exactly, but if we get back in, then I think it will be that 20 minutes.
What you want, I never had.
It's there now. Could be anything between 23 and 20 minutes, but I reckon it'll be rounded, so I reckon it'll be 20 minutes. If it's obviously not there, it's always good, because that just means it's longer than 20 minutes. And it's not there, so that means it's longer than 20 minutes. Squad count there, just like I know these things will just spawn right by you anyway, so it doesn't matter if you're in proximity to them. I'm guessing if you stood on it, I'm pretty sure it's far enough back. Pretty sure it's back there. Can't see the squad one, I'm annoyed at that one, so we should be good to see one of them spawn. That's not good. Another sound cool. One's coming up, sunrise. Look at that shadow getting close. The edge of the shadow coming towards us. Crouch down. Before it gets too high. And on 35, so that's 25 minutes. Have a quick look on the patch notes just to see whether it says here how long. Might have seen 2 more minutes, and then that'll be 30 minutes. There's so many changes in this patch. Ridiculous. It's a huge amount to read. Just trying to see if I can see stuff that tells me about these rocks. Let's see. You can find loads of different things. I can't see anything that actually mentions either putting the rocks on the wall or what the respawn time has been changed to. I've got a feeling they may not have changed the respawn timer. I think that would have been, sounds like that looks like it might have been a myth. That's the only thing when you are listening to people talking about things, unless you actually physically see them testing it, then you know it's definite. You have to take their word for it. And I had heard a number of people say that this time had been changed to these and that they'd spawn every 5 minutes. Well, definitely not 5 minutes. Definitely not even 25 minutes. The original timer was, I think, 40 minutes. And we're now already towards that. We're literally only 8 minutes away from that, so in about 8 minutes time we should see these spawn. of the other good changes. So let's have, while we wait for this, I'll try and angle it so that we can see both. Like, I know there's a stun. You can actually see it. Do that. Well, the tower I'm looking at the moment, I'm based on this spawn. I think there's only room for the tower after. Might just have to duck in and out of it. I would build something here that can stay there, but I don't know if they want to drop there. Okay, you get to 21:45, which is just hit. Anywhere around now, if it spawns, it means it'll be 35 minutes. Not yet. So that would suggest to me that it's probably going to be 40 minutes, which is what the original time was. So we'll wait for that to happen. Stand and save. We have a look. So this is actually all of our things that we've got at the moment that have changed. So this is the patch we've got. It's just come out today. You've got so many things that have happened in this patch. New content. There is a little bit of new content, but there isn't that much new content. This is mainly all to do with fixing a lot of things, readjusting, rebalancing the game. They putting the like titanium and the Stradivarius mass up on the wall is part of that strategy of trying to rebalance the game. What they're trying to do is make these rare metals, because there still are rare metals, more accessible and more plentiful, because they were, like I said, they were just like heavily competing almost against the actual spice. Spice should be like the most, very much, way above everything else in cost. However, those metals, because they were just so over rare, that the price was being driven up that much that there wasn't any, if at all, any price difference between the metal and the spice. So now by them putting it on this wall means that it should change that and reduce that price right down. It still obviously takes a lot of materials to make it, and the water ratio and stuff like that, unless you have the big refinery, is still going to heavily eat into your resources. Even with the large one, it's still going to use up a lot of water, but it'll be more efficient at least. So you've got everything from here. You've got like it's obviously got some highlights here. Technical stability. What's stability? Same old crap as far as I'm concerned on that front. However, resource building, crafting, the Penta Shield is also in this. So here you've got the Penta Shield services can now be damaged anywhere, not just the corners. So previously, if you hit the central part of a Penta Shield, it didn't cause any significant damage. It did cause damage, and people said it didn't cause damage, but I've seen people cause damage by hitting it into just the Penta Shield. Whether that was splash damage that was still causing a shield, I don't know, but people were hammering rockets just into the centre of the shield, and it did cause damage. So I can only think if it wasn't causing direct damage from the actual Penta Shield, then it must have been doing splash damage as well, or AoE effect. It'll also probably mention here about the pentashields having to be now put onto things, can't be built by themselves. That'll be somewhere in here. You've got stuff about the economy and stuff like that. You've also got stuff about so this is where I'd have expected to see the stuff mentioned about it being more plentiful and stuff like that, but I can't. Like, I've read through this quite brushing over it, but I can't see anything there that mentions it. It does talk about the redistributed flower sand and spice sand fields in Haggard Basin to allow the sandworm to reach them. That's because there were, like you've seen, I've done, there were areas that you can go to in Haggard Basin, one that was just right by the hammer, and you could go there and mine to your heart's content, and a worm wouldn't get aggroed because it was just too close into the rocks. They've moved that now, and where they are, the worm comes. Tested, confirmed. That does not. We can probably go and do that ourselves after this. You've also got the spice food that you could get, so from the beer and stuff like that. All the prices have now been changed, so they've come down. The spice beer, as you can see there, has gone down from 22,500 down to 400. Same for coffee. The wine's gone down from 4,800. All gone down by a bit, pretty much. Even something like the napalm as well. So the napalm, rockets, missiles, and spice fuel cells. Again, all the prices of those have heavily been reduced as well. So that's all good. Yeah. As you can see, there's just like so many different things. So you've got loads of things for combat and all that type of stuff. So yep, if you want to check that out, this is the web address up the top. I'll put a link after the stream in the actual video on YouTube. So if you want to go and check it out for yourself, you can do. Let's go and see whether or not this it has. And we are exactly 2150. We look down and the sports one is going well, so it's every 40 minutes. So yeah, that hasn't changed. The timer is still the same, but the fact it's up here means that now you can probably find ways where you can find a route where you can probably go do a run, and by the time you get back to the beginning, your first node will have been respawned, and you can just continuously keep doing that. And you're doing that all in the safety of a PvE zone where you can't get attacked, and it's easily available. No longer can you get guilds trying to keep the little solo player out, or anyone that's basically just not part of their clique out. Everyone can now access this stuff, so that's good news. We'll go back now to Haggard Basin then, and I'll go and show you this sandworm that will now attack you in a place where it would previously attack you. I kind of like one of the reasons why I have my base where we were is because you can literally hop off here and just glide all the way back to here, and it's a really efficient way of location to be in, for fuel wise at least, and for speed I guess. But now we've got this booster, I'm just like so tempted to just press the booster, speed it up a little bit. And you can glide this. I have started trying to learn how to try and glide this a little bit. I still rely on the booster, but and that's before obviously these changes. But I have got to the part now where I think if I get the next Mark wings, I could probably glide this, because I can pretty much glide it as it is. I just eventually do get to the point where I just do so much altitude. You just can't, like in a scout ornithopter, you can easily gain momentum. You just need to get the ornithopter beyond a certain speed, and the magic speed is get the ornithopter up to its max glide speed of 170, and if it's up to that and it goes up to 181, you've got enough that when you go up, your momentum goes up that much that you get enough velocity and height back, which then means that once you're up that thing, you keep continuously doing that, continuously you just get higher and higher. Rinse and repeat until you get to the desired height. Those things, now, you can do the same technique, and you'll certainly do better than if you just straightforward glide, but you just don't go fast enough to get the air to roll over the wings to keep you in the air enough, like to even maintain an altitude, not mind gain altitude. You're even using the technique, your speed's just been bled off far too much. Like this now, we've lost too much already. If you go below 30, you lose too much velocity. So, and once you've lost too much velocity, then you're automatically losing height. So, and that's the problem. Like they don't take into account the size of the wing difference, because realistically speaking, larger wings generally mean better glide. In this game, it's like almost the opposite. It's like the smaller wings and lighter plane gives you a better glide. When this, realistically, it's not that much bigger, but well, I say it's not that much bigger. It is significantly bigger, but not at a huge amount that I would expect it, based on the fact it's got 2 more wings. The wings are way more bigger, which means it has more surface area. And more surface area should mean more lift, but that doesn't equate. So I don't know. It's a game. Just not too realistic on that front. Okay, we'll swap into this. Probably need to get a sand wand. So don't have in there. I was hoping I might have one in there, but I don't. Pretty sure I know where it is. In the big safe in the corner. Or it's not. Oh wow. Oh well. You didn't know who it was. I know where it'll be then. It'll be in one of these boxes. I think this one. It'll be in this one. Not there. Do you know what? This is like one of those times where I'll probably come back and just dump it in the box and thought, I'll move it later. I'm in a rush. This is why I try not to do that, because when I actually want it, I can't remember where I've already put it. It's not in that other box. That's just like what it should be. This is all our nice spice sand, our flower sand that we got before they made the changes, so that we don't have to worry about the changes they made. I really thought I was better than that. The fact it's not in there, it must be. Oh, I know where it is. It's on the very top floor. Not all the way up there. Okay. So it means it's in the stuff that should be separated for essentially, so I know what I need to take out there first, which would allow me to make the base of the base, the shell of the base. We will take them. Actually, no, we won't take them. We'll just take the sand one. Where is the sand one? Not even in there. The other stuff's in there though, which means it must be in one of those little boxes. Unless I put it in here. That's not in there. This is why you should keep things organised. And why I do normally try and keep things organised. It's just that when I moved everything back last time, I started running out of room. Had to build that other big box. Then decided I'd split all the stuff out. And then in between that, I did a few runs and did a mission, and then got things mixed up with stuff that I didn't know whether it's part of the mission I just ran or whether it was stuff that actually came from the deep desert base, so it just started getting mixed up with other boxes. Okay, that's our sand compactor. Actually, we don't want to take that one because that's actually a decent one. We want to take I actually made some purpose built MK5 ones, I think. The reason why I made them is because the reason why I did it is because obviously way back when, these ones have a high worm attraction intensity, which is perfectly for what we want for this test. This is to show, obviously, as soon as you turn it off, how fast the worms are going to attack us. However, the reason why I hadn't used those other ones is because obviously they're rare. They come from the special blueprint that you get, and they have low worm intensity. Well, obviously, if no worm's going to come, I don't have to worry about that. So I just used normal stuff, and obviously took one that was just highly efficient, but at the same time, didn't matter about like having to get all the rare resources, because obviously that wears out, and eventually you have to get build another one, etc. So I was just trying to keep that one, just doing spice melange out and spice. However, now when I do get through my stockpile, I will have to use that rarer one instead. But yeah, we'll fix that when we get to that. I want to dump some of this stuff off because I don't want these things anymore. I'll keep experimenting over. Back into storage until we might need them. Well, when we do need them, it's not when. Not might. When we do need them, when we need to build another one because the last one got blown up or whatever. Oh, that's another thing they've changed as well. If you notice these, so previously when you looked at the schematics on these, and even with these pictures, you would see a number of wings. Now they've changed it so that you only see one wing, because that was a bit misleading previously, that you'd see a number of wings, yet it was actually only one wing. They've actually changed it now so that you now see just one wing. And when you look at this, a small one only has literally one like level, one kind of line, if you want to refer to it as, like only one of these. But we'll go upstairs in a minute, and I think I have a large one somewhere. I'm about to see the difference. Yeah, so these ones are large, as you see. So a small one only has this bottom part. A medium will have 4, and the large one now has 6. Previously, regardless to whether it's large, medium, or small, they all looked exactly the same. So they've changed some of the actual UI images now on those goods, so that where you see difference in size or amount, you now see the right representation through the image. So you can clearly know what they are and at a look, rather than just look at it and go, is that for large or small, and you'd have to hover over it to actually understand, like, yeah, you'd have to do that. And then it would have looked like that, but it would have said small, medium or large. Now you can just literally look at it and go, okay, that's large, that's a small. That's another change. There's like, you see the list, there's a lot of changes. Some of them well detailed, some of them are kind of a bit more vague about what the change actually was, but yeah. Or some of them not even mentioned apparently. Or if they are mentioned, they just get to be mentioned. we'll go over to where I used to always mod. So here is where that's mine to your heart's content, and you'd never attract the worm. No, you will, as we'll see. Oh, and the worm animations. Oh, actually, you might be able to see the worm animations because they changed the worm animations now. They're also randomised. In other words, they could be so as they were before, or they could instantly come again. What class does he rock? That's definitely. You say I don't want to pass this one words. I just want to change my skills a little bit. Don't want to die.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh, get it from my mama, hip so thick that I need tempo, personality spicy, body banging like a bongo, cause black women been it since Timbuktu since Pharaoh, sponge rollers and hot combs, lip sheets and brow bones, if you ain't for the culture then
Looks
please
like it's
stay
just as
out
good
of
as
my
it was
zone,
before,
these
though.
little dummy rappers could never grace like headphones, see I'm from a place in space
It's just the
where
fact that we're
ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there, if you want the battle ain't no problem, stay where I got so much experience I can't even play fair, but I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing you need endurance to go in, I got mileage on this pen, I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids, took 3 decades to have this blow up that I did.
I'm expecting the worm to come as soon as I hit it. Come on. The only thing is, it's like I'm not seeing any slice sound here, even though there should be some. Well, you can definitely see we're in an area where the worm's going to come because we've got the worm warner on the thing. There's no actual flower sand here though, for whatever reason. Someone's probably already mined it out. I'm guessing this safe is because there's like rocks there, so they can't go any closer. Although that did look like it was coming directly at us then. I've always been a bit wary of this area, like where the actual rocks do start and end here, but yeah, previously you could go all the way out here. I didn't even want to look to see what the worm was doing because I'm aware the worm can randomly come at you straight away pretty much. Literally it will pop its head up, put it back down within a second and start chasing you down. Could be quite close. Maybe you need to do it in the deep desert. In the deep desert, they'll breach, but if he's breaching, he could be breaching up and down straight away and starting to chase me down wherever he breached. But I can't. By the time I turned around there, and I got back pretty fast to an area where it allowed me to turn around and be safe. Probably need to do this naked, and it doesn't matter if I get you. Oh, anyway, we have reached the end of the stream. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope you got some insights out of today. See what changes have been made. Like I said, there are some really good changes in this. So do read up what those changes are yourself. Go and experiment. Obviously, I keep trying to tell everyone, but do not be scared to go in the deep desert. Half the deep desert you can't even be touched. And now you've got even more reason to go out there as well. You've got some of the rare components that you get, which can only be get in the deep desert. You've got the metals now that you can get on the actual wall, and they're plentiful. Like even the spice land, you can go and get the small nodes out in the deep desert as long as you stay within the halfway point. But certainly do not be scared to come out to it, because there is plenty of stuff out there, and that's where you get and start to make some really good money as well. So thank you very much for joining us today. I will see you when I get back from my trip next week. But today, that is Lou out, and have a great evening.